In just a few hours, a federal judge in Seattle will hold a hearing on a bid to block President Trump's order to revoke birthright citizenship in the U.S. The case was brought by attorneys general in Washington, Arizona, Illinois, and Oregon. I'm going to bring in CBS News immigration and politics reporter Camilo Montoya-Galvez for more. So Camilo, just so people understand, what is the president suggesting? Because the Constitution of the United States is crystal clear when it comes to the 14th Amendment. I think there's a lot of stuff flying out there, and I think that people need to understand exactly what's at stake here and what the president's powers are and what they are not.
Good morning, Vlad. Soon after taking office on Monday, President Trump took this unprecedented measure to try to upend and really terminate the long-standing interpretation of the U.S. Constitution, which has long been interpreted to mean, Vlad, as you mentioned, that people who are born here on American soil, in most cases at least, are automatically U.S. citizens, American citizens at birth. But in his order, he is trying to deny birthright citizenship to the children of people who are in the country illegally, Vlad, as well as those who are here on temporary visas, such as tourists or travelers. And it is really important to note that Mr. Trump gave federal agencies like the State Department 30 days, a pretty quick time frame to implement this order and to start denying passports and other documents of citizenship to children who are born in these circumstances. However, it is unclear whether that actual edict and order will take effect because, as you know, legal challenges have already been filed against this executive action by President Trump. Not only have a group of Democratic-led states filed lawsuit in federal courts across the country against this edict, but so have advocates across the country who say that this tramples on the U.S. Constitution and that it should be struck down in court.
Right. And CBS News has exclusively learned, as you know, Camilo, that U.S. border agents have been instructed to deport migrants crossing into the country illegally without allowing them to request legal protection. What do those government documents indicate is the reasoning behind this? Because, and again, people should understand what we're suggesting here. No one is suggesting that undocumented immigrants should just flow into the country without any sort of checks and balances. But there is a legal mechanism in place for people to request asylum, and that is across the board from any country that feels that where a person feels that they need to legally request that asylum. So explain that for our viewers.
Sure. So on Monday, in addition to issuing that order on birthright citizenship and trying to terminate that interpretation of the Constitution, the president also issued another major executive action, Vlad, that suspended the entry of all asylum seekers and migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border and the U.S.-Canada border on the grounds that he believes they are orchestrating and staging an invasion of the U.S. and that they also could pose a threat to national security, public safety, or public health. And so this is a sweeping order that he is invoking under his constitutional powers and an immigration law known as 212F that allows presidents to suspend and bar the entry of foreigners if he deems that their entry is detrimental to U.S. interests. What does that mean? Well, we have learned that Border Patrol has been instructed to adhere to these orders by essentially summarily and quickly deporting most migrants without allowing them to have a chance to request asylum. And that is a major change because, as you alluded to, Vlad, under U.S. domestic and international refugee law, the U.S. typically has had an obligation to at least screen and interview people who say that they could be persecuted if deported back to their home countries or to the place of deportation like Mexico. That obligation, Vlad, has now been effectively suspended under this edict by President Trump, and these migrants can be summarily deported from the country without any sort of asylum screening.
Really quickly, Camilo, because we have to run, but I just want to understand something. Does that mean it's across the board? In other words, if somebody's requesting asylum, for example, from Ukraine, or somebody is requesting asylum from Denmark or Cuba, are those same, is this enforced for anyone requesting political asylum or economic asylum?
This only applies to people who are crossing the U.S.-Mexico border and the U.S.-Canada border, as well as coastal sectors. It does not apply to people, Vlad, who are already here on American soil before the order took effect, and it also does not apply to people who enter the country legally on a temporary visa, for example, and then request asylum.
Got it. All right. Camilo Montoya-Galvez for us this morning. Thank you very much for that clarity. Appreciate it.